Good morning. It's 5:26 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, July 7th. It's a little rainy in New York, gloomy. Let's take a look at Litecoin. You all seen my video yesterday. I think Coinbase has let the manipulator, their market maker, is totally out of control. He's either trying to collapse the price of Litecoin, or he's pushing it so far that he's going to pump it really high. Every reaction you could see since the 29th, the end of the month, every time he's gone up, he has worked it down with a bot, which is triggering by any kind of price rise, and the bot's running off these EMAs right here. That's the trigger. When it crosses the EMA at a certain point, the bot initiates the dump to get this price under these EMA lines. See? Right back under the line. Right back under. Keeping it under, you're keeping it under. Now, we're at the bottom of where it's quite possible that the market maker is trying to collapse the price, or he's bringing it underwater to bring it up. Either way, it's being manipulated. And either way, people are reacting to his manipulation in a negative or a positive way. Either way, he's going to make money off of this. Illegally, I might add. And the fact stands that Coinbase is letting their market maker openly manipulate the book. There is no hiding it anymore. If you check my last video, all the proof is there. Okay, they admitted that their market maker was putting those trades up, and then after a long drawn out where they were hauled in and they got subpoenaed, I think they got subpoenaed in May of 2018. Okay, they were subpoenaed, so they had to answer that subpoena. Now I'm thinking that the results of answering that subpoena from the CFTC that was issued to them on May 25th, I believe, 2018, that their market maker went in and changed his modus operandi, and now he's got a new one. He's going to use the bot. He's going to operate it just as he's operating on Bitcoin now. And yes, he is manipulating Bitcoin with a mere 50 Bitcoin. He's manipulating the price there. And that needs to be uncovered. And this is beyond criminality now. I have enough. I think if this went to court and I presented this evidence in front of a jury, that'd be enough to get Brian Armstrong and Charlie Lee the justifiable term in prison. All right. Now it's come out that Charlie Lee did not admit it, that he sold his coin. There's another. I actually have another Chinese national turned around and they investigated it himself, and he found out that Charlie openly admitted that he was glad that he sold the coin when he did, because he's living comfortably now. Okay, so that shows another, how would you say, intention of why he sold the coin, other than conflict of interest, as he said. So I have it linked in one of my other videos. It's there. So he openly admitted, and it's an article where Charlie Lee was interviewed, that he stated, "I was glad that I sold my coin when it did, because now I'm living comfortably now." This goes to tell you, it had nothing to do with conflict of interest. The guy is a liar. Him and Brian Armstrong should be, you were together in this scheme, well, now you could be cellmates doing 5 to 10 years in prison. This is a scam. Look at this coin. Every time it was going up, it was attacked. It was attacked. This is on, and then they say they're monitoring the books. Now, if I'm sitting there, I'm working at Coinbase, you know, maybe you don't have to be the sharpest knife in the drawer. I'll tell you what I would see. This is how I would react. Oh wow, look at this unusual doji. That stands out. It went this high and it was brought this low. That right there on a 5-minute candle or a 1-hour candle. Boom. Suspicious activity on a 1-hour candle. Okay. Okay. You see these tails? It keeps going back up. Boom. On the 1 hour, suspicious activity. What's going on here? That's the second time I see that. Okay, we'll let it go. Even if you let it go here. The third one. Okay, now it goes back up because it's being pressured underwater. Sometimes, there's too much pressure. It goes back up. What does he do? Redoubles his efforts. Now you got to sit there and scratch your head now as you're monitoring the books. Well, why is this activity, every time the EMA goes over the EMA, it gets triggered to bring it back under? Now look, giant doji candle. Another alarm bell right there. Unusual activity. Okay, maybe you miss it a few times, but now look at this, right? They started working on it all right away. You could see that the resistance pegged these downturns up. Okay, and they were immediately reversed as they went up. Okay, bang. Now resistance reacts to it, low price, back under the EMAs, back up again. What happens? Bang, immediately brought down again. If you cannot see that this is manipulation, watching this over the long term, you got to be blind as a bat. Look, especially this over here. This should be the ultimate kick in the pants. You could be the dumbest MFer on the planet. This right here should tell you, let's open an investigation and just see if the IP that's dumping these down, right? This is very simple. Somebody's manipulating the market now. I don't feel safe. I'm seeing these severe downturns that they're reacting to every upturn. Okay? I'm going to investigate and see if this IP here matches the downturn to all these other downturns, right? The IP address that's connected to this, to the API, the bot that's running it has an IP address that's assigned to whoever holds the account. Okay, it has a name, an ID, it has everything in there. That's how you know your client. So now you can go in and say, let me just compare this dump to who dumped it, 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 and this dump to who dumped it. Now, if that confirms to be true, to be one, IP address that's doing all those dumps, then the next thing you do, if you're a good investigator and you're awake, if you're not freaking have the horse blinders on, or maybe if the guy who's doing this is your cousin, or a friend of Brian, or Charlie Lee, now you say, well, this over here, this is suspicious. Now that they looked into it, oh my God, the IP address for all the dumps are the same. I'm an investigator. I've done it for years. That's what I would do. Now you come over here, you say, well, let me just see who's pumping it. You go to this one, you see who created this one, you look who created this, 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 and don't be surprised. Don't wet your knickers. Don't be surprised if you see the same person that was pumping it up was actually driving it down. Or you might have two IPs and they might own the same account. There might be two different accounts owned by the same company or person or individual or entity. And then you come over here and you look to see all of these trades, who's keeping Litecoin underwater. That's all it is. This is not rocket scientists. I don't know how they got these agencies convinced that there's nothing going on wrong, and anybody who clearly has any experience at all, it's a very suspicious activity. I don't know who they got working over there, man, at the CFTC, the New York Department of that bank examiner. Again, I'll say it again. You cannot have, I've been in both worlds, banking and brokerage. If you have a bank examiner looking at an exchange, you're not going to get any results. I could tell him any story. There is no school for trading. There's no school for it. The only school there is to help you get your Series 7. Everything else you have to learn on the front line. And that's how I learned it, on the front line. 10, 20 years, okay, in brokerage, using the dot system, going down to the clearinghouse, to the cage itself. Those people trained me over there in Cowan. They trained me. My boss sent me down there when I worked for Dunleavy. Mr. Terrell sent me down there, show him how everything works. He wants his job, Mr. Russo's job, is to see it all, learn it all. So if there's a problem, he can come down here, relate to you, and get it cleared up. That was my job at Cowan. And after that, I went down there a few times, and I figured out what was wrong. I was the one that actually turned around the Cowan system and looked at it, and all your trades are supposed to be anonymous on the system. You have a code, you put it in there, you punch it up, you can see all your trade activities. You do not know the trade activity of anybody else but your own. Then I discovered if you don't put in the code and you just leave it empty and you hit the button, you see everybody's trading activity, and the abbreviations, you could tell who, the way it was abbreviated, you could tell who was Morgan Stanley, who was Citibank. You could see the whole thing. I was the one that discovered that and brought it to Cowan's attention. Anybody, any trader who wanted to see what the big boys were doing that had access to the dot system, it was a simple little glitch that you could take advantage of and make millions off the market. I discovered and closed that loophole. That's how good I am. So this is what this is going on. This is a pure crying shame, unadulterated, unchecked manipulation, which is a crime. Going by the rules of the CFTC, the New York Department of Financial Services is just a banking services bank and issued a BIT license. So they don't know. There's no possibility that the bank examiner could know. These guys should be, don't close the, well, you don't have to close down the exchange. Get these guys in front of get these guys to talk and just ask them, what are the IPs? If you guys are you claim you're monitoring your own books, we feel that you guys are incompetent in that design. What are the IPs for each one of these downturns and upswings? And we want to know if it has a common account holder. Can you find that out? Has anybody investigated? And if they say no, don't go no further than that. Say it's criminal negligence. And then you go after the person if you find out if those IP addresses are one and the same account for both the pumps and dumps, or the dumps or the pumps, whatever way you look at it, because they're all manipulation no matter who does it. And if you relate those IP addresses to an individual in that person should be arrested. This is criminal activity. I don't know how else to explain it to these guys that sit in their office, you know. And if the person here is trying to make a living trading, they're being ripped off. Their whole life, their general direction from this criminality that goes on unchecked is destitution. Why did people take the risk of it? You're saying, well, they shouldn't take the risk? Well, in the trading agreement, it says that, it says in the letter that I showed you yesterday, they say that the accounts of the manipulators will be closed, they'll be severely punished, in both their trading rules and in the letter they sent me. Yet, nothing's happening to them. So you come in here, well, there's no way they're going to do manipulation here and wreck me. I'm a responsible, intelligent guy. I could see the graph. I could do a technical analysis. And most of these guys are doing it right. And then they're sitting there scratching their head. Why does the market go opposite the way the technical analysis says? Because it's being manipulated. And then you incur a loss. They're predatory trading. It's that simple. Now today, it's either we make it or break it today. And it looks like these guys want to make the market, even though it's in a full bull upswing, they're trying to do the incredible feat, these bears, they want to get medals on their chest of bringing the market down during a bull run to show how powerful they are. That's all it is. Now, we've been stuck at 118 and 119 now since July 4th. These guys are criminals, and the lackadaisical agencies, la-di-da, for a whole year, skipping through the woods, The wolf's behind them. He's been eating people, gobbling them up, destroying everything, ripping people apart. And where is the guard? The home guard? Where are they? They're in the friggin' brewery, drinking out of the vat with the huge straw. These people, this is why people are starting to hate capitalism. Because the people on top, they sit there, rich. They're driving around in expensive cars. They live a life of luxury, and they haven't earned it. And this is why people are pissed off. They sit there and they point the finger down. Well, you don't know what you're talking about. No, we're not going to do anything because you're not our boss. I'm my lordship into my own vassalship. My little fiefdom is under my control. You're a serf. You can't tell me what to do. But meanwhile, in this country, when we pay taxes out of our earnings from cryptocurrency, we're paying your salary. We're your boss. What happened? Now they all turned around. These bureaucrats, they think they can dictate to everybody. This is why people are getting pissed off. They sit there on the phone. Well, what do you think we should do? What do you mean, what I think? This is what they told me in an email. Give us some bulletin points and tell us what you think we should do. If you don't know what you should do, then you shouldn't have your job that you have to ask somebody like me. You shouldn't. This is what the New York Department of Financial Services head bank examiner. Send us a bulletin post and what you think we should do. Is this a test of my intelligence, or is this going out and preventing the crime? This is another guy who's sitting on his lofty little, velvet chair. His feet can't probably touch the ground. Like the rest of us, the dirty ground. It's ridiculous. I had the bank examiner ask me. I even have the email. He asked me, what do you think we should do? Put it in the bulletin, with spots what we should do. I don't work for the fucking goddamn New York Department of Financial Services. I have 30-year experience. I'm telling you what to do. Motherfucker, pay me. That's what I am, a consultant. If I'm consulting you what you think, what I think you should do, look, it's already written there in the law books. You see manipulation. You gather the evidence. You bring it to in front of a judge. You say, look, this is what we found. And if the judge reviews it and finds that it is evidence of criminality, he issues a warrant for their arrest. What else do you need to know? Oh, Lord. That's what the bank examiner from the New York Department of Financial Services, you tell us in the bulletin, what do you think I should do? What we should do to prevent this. What should we put out? You're like, the guys are committing a crime. The police officer's going to come up to you instead of saying, where's the evidence of the crime committed? Who committed the crime? Who? Identify them. They don't sit there in the police department and ask you, well, what do you think we should do about it? They already know. This is bad, people. This is bad. I don't know if these people were trying to play games with me or insult my intelligence or to have a good laugh. But that's what I know. You see the manipulation. You give them evidence of the manipulation. Coinbase admitted that their market maker was the one manipulating it. Fabricated the story of this is what he's doing. You go to the exchange, you watch what he's doing, you compare it to the letter. They don't match. So there you go. Then you bring it to it. You take the evidence, the empirical data, the evidence. The data that I gave you. This is what this is, data. You bring it to a judge. You say, look, we think these guys are manipulating the market. Here is our evidence. The judge sits there, or a panel, or whatever you got there, reviews it. They say, we agree with you that this is manipulation. If you have people up there that have experience, these older judges, they sit there, yeah, we've seen something like this before plenty of times. Issue a warrant, a subpoena, like they did last time. But now this time, since they haven't stopped, now you go back to the judge, because they obviously didn't stop, they just changed the method. You go over to you go back again. Look, they're still manipulating, and we found the IP addresses. We subpoenaed for this dump, this pump. They're all the same account numbers, same IP addresses. This is the identity of the client. Issue a warrant for their arrest. That's all you have to do. What else do you have to know? Now all of a sudden they're inexperienced boobs. What's the matter? Coinbase didn't let you use the summer condo that they let all of their manipulators use? There's something wrong over here with these agencies over here. They're playing patty cake with these manipulators because they have money. So that's all I have to say. So today either Litecoin breaks out or it goes in the dumpster today. And it looks more than likely that Coinbase knows. When it gets to the bottom like this, and if it's going to go down further, Coinbase will extend the bottom. Well, they haven't done that, if you have noticed that. All right? So more than likely it's going to go up, and they know it's going to go up. Because every time you hit the bottom, like over here, automatically during the day they'll overextend all of a sudden it'll extend the bottom price to a lower. You'll see, in other words, this won't be the bottom price. It'll go lower. That'll extend this graph right here, the graph board that we're on here, and they haven't. So right there, that's a signal that these guys know it's going to likely go up. There's no need for the program to extend the bottom of the price to a lower range, because the program knows it's going up. Man, this is so easy to see. I mean, I don't know. These guys' frontal lobe must be damaged, and then they're questioning other people's intelligence, and then they're asking them for friggin' history lessons or papers like we're in high school. Ridiculous.